Hello there. I'm happy to see you accepted my invitation.
Hello and welcome to Outside Xbox here at E3 2019, where Mike and I have just been witness to a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 demo. It was very exciting.
It was extremely exciting, yes. We're big fans of the original. Went in slightly nervous, wondering whether they could really convert my sort of hopes and dreams into an actual modern video game, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job. It looks beautiful. Lots of new kind of bits and bobs, systems and things, and also, because this wasn't our save game and our profile, an opportunity to be a complete a-hole.
The opportunity afforded by a hands-off gameplay demo at E3 2019, where the demoist will do anything you tell them to do, is that you can be a massive vampire jerk.
Oh my god!
In the demo, it was quite early on in the game, we were playing a Thin Blood, which is a newly made vampire, not yet affiliated with a clan. That happens a bit later, but you have one of three disciplines. But Mike, tell me about the first of the vampire dick moves.
Well, probably the easiest and most straightforward dick move when you're a vampire is to suck someone dry of all their blood. Which is something we did on numerous occasions.
A classic vampire thing to do, but you don't have to drain someone dry.
No, absolutely. There's a system where you can kind of hit a sweet spot, a bit like an active reload, which will give you...
You drain them mostly dry.
Yeah, three-quarters blood.
Them.
Yeah. They remain unconscious afterwards rather than dead. And you also earn a bunch of this sort of resonance stuff, right? Which is...
Human energies.
Human energies.
Of a certain flavour.
Yeah, so everyone has a kind of different energy to them, whether it's delirium or, you know, desire, things like that. And based on that aura, you can pick and choose your targets so that you can kind of buff your skills based on the way you like to play. So with delirium, we ended up in a kind of drug den where there's a bunch of people sort of out of their mind on drugs, and they all had the kind of delirium aura. And they were saying that when you play it, you'll be kind of on the hunt a bit like a vampire. You'll be sizing up every person you see, which is sort of what they wanted, that kind of slightly predatory sort of vampire-y vibe.
It means you'll have a preference on a certain type of human as a vampire, which is a really nice way of gamifying that vampiric fiction trope, where it's like, what kind of humans do you like to hunt? Where do you like to hunt? You know, what's your prey? The thing is, though, it's not as bad to be drained dry of all your blood and dying as it is to be destroyed with blood magic.
Yes.
Which was our other powers. We were gifted these sort of Tremere blood magic abilities.
I'm not clear on whether as a Thin Blood you'd get those abilities that early in the game, but they definitely wanted to show off some of the kind of real, I mean, they seem like powerful moves.
And they did show them off. They're disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible. There seem to be blood spikes that come out, so you throw
conjure a blood trap.
And they skewer people. One where people's blood seemed to be just sort of boiling in their body and they were exploding, and you can make them throw blood up. It's just real unpleasant stuff.
All the bad stuff with a human's blood.
Anything you can think of that would be bad to happen to your blood can happen.
The third most morally repugnant thing we did as a vampire in Bloodlines 2 was dance like this.
Specifically this dance, yes.
We were delighted though, because the dance itself, as goofy as it looks, what am I talking about? As spectacular as it looks, is a kind of Easter egg. It's a reference, right, to the first game.
Yeah, when you went to the asylum in the first game, if you went onto the dance floor, there's a little kind of disco ball icon, and if you hit the button, actually it wasn't even a disco ball, I think it was the kind of like Saturday Night Fever sort of
icon,
and you hit the button and your vampire did what it is safe to say is the most extravagant and elaborate dance in all of video games.
Unvampiric. You've got like a Lestat type character, and
doing
then
this kind of arm waving,
flailing around. Where everyone else is just kind of being chill. They're just,
Yeah,
you know, having
mostly.
a
Although there was
little
one other guy who I thought was trying to step to us and doing another sort of quite loud dance, but we definitely absolutely destroyed him. Yeah, there's no way you'd be able to keep your eyes off that dance if someone was doing it.
And you'd be looking over there and go, what an asshole. You know what I find to be the most morally repulsive act a person or a
dancing.
vampire can do? And that's jumping a queue.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a Brit, I find that deeply offensive.
Get in line. It really destroys my sense of moral code as a Brit. Yeah, there's a pretty polite group of drug users queuing up outside I guess a crack den. I assume it's crack. I don't know drugs.
This is in the jungle, right?
Yes,
In Seattle.
which
So
is
the kind of
apparently a real place.
underground, kind of skeevy area where people go to hide.
Yeah, there's this queue and we just waltzed straight past them all
So
like
rude.
a total jerk. And we did sort of get called out for it, but
The dealer was like, back of the line.
Hey, I told you shit stacks to stay out of this side. You get your fix when we say so. Now turn around or I'll stomp you into the goddamn mud.
But then we gave as good as we got in terms of threatening behaviour, right, with that guy. We basically picked the harshest dialogue options we could
That was fun,
find.
yeah.
Lots of swearing, lots of threatening.
Listen, mate, I'm a f***ing vampire and I'm gonna tear your throat out and suck the hole.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm out. You do what you want. Ain't no one here likes messing with crazy.
And then
Quite.
he tried to give a bit more and we were like,
I'll chug you like a pitcher of shitty beer.
the dialogue options are amazing, and that was the kind of coercion, which is like slightly threatening, but there are other options that you can sort of see on the screen.
Negotiation, coercion,
Yeah.
presumably seduce, although that was not an option in this
Yeah,
case.
obviously, like the original game, you'll have more options depending on which, where you put your points and things like that. So I don't know if that guy would have been up for seduction. Maybe his type is people who don't jump the queue.
That's the deal breaker. Ruined our chances.
Yeah.
And I love this part. We'd successfully coerced this dealer into letting us in and we were going to go on about our business. And Mike was
Mission
like,
accomplished.
Steal that, would you, please?
Yeah.
Please, Mr. Developer, demoing this game for us.
He was like, what?
Okay. Literally in front of this dealer,
He
you were like,
swipes all the money.
the money box or whatever, like, just 1 second. Like eye contact.
Yeah.
Watch where you're going.
And
And
obviously it all
everything
kicked off. So we ended up slaying all of the people in that crack den. I think it's sort of indicative of the fact that in this game, I think in general, you can say you're going to do one thing
Yes.
and do the other,
Yes.
or you can about turn when you've completed a mission. You can screw people over and stuff. You're never like railroaded into, or very rarely railroaded into a situation where you can't change your mind at any point during that sort of quest
Yeah.
line.
I don't know, man.
So obviously we were on an errand, and that errand was to track down a NOSFERATU named Slug. We sort of tracked that guy down in the jungle.
You. I don't know you. That's a good start. What do you want?
It turns out the reason I play RPGs nicely is because when you're actually faced with the consequences of your a-holery, it can be really, really horrifying.
Yeah, this was the turning point. This was that I no longer feel great about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't hilarious, and maybe it's just a bit sad because he actually seemed really nice. I mean, he did try and kill us.
Yes.
Okay, rats. Time to earn your cheese.
We did threaten him first, though. Thinking about it, he did try and kill us.
Yes. Let's hold on to that point as justification.
And then he's like, I'm sorry, you've beaten me in a fight.
Don't kill me. I don't have the data on me. It's here. I can tell you where it is. I just wanted them to have to work for it. I didn't mean it personally, you understand?
I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
He's got some data, some like secret special data that you're trying to get off him, and he's like, please, just let me go. You can have the data, or
Yeah.
however the conversation played out. He's like, look, just just let me go.
Yeah. And we were like, hand over the data and also all of your money.
And he's like, no, 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 I need the money to escape the city, to flee to safety, because there were a lot of bad people who were after him.
Come on. I need that money to get out of town. I'll give you what you want, just let me keep the cash, okay?
That was the line that you picked where he's
Slug.
just like, Slug,
Come on.
Come on. Which is so harsh, and he's like, oh, fine,
Okay.
here's the money.
Okay. Here's everything I have.
And then the response is just beautiful because it's just like, ha, we didn't need it anyway. It's just such
I imagine
a
you
joke.
light the money on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
in front
In
of
front
him.
of him.
And he's like, no.
Now please, I gave you what you want. Just let me go. Maybe I can help you out somehow. If we meet again, just let me go. I'm begging you.
And then it got real and real dark. I didn't feel super good about that.
Probably won't do that when I'm playing as my sexy Toreador. I don't
Doesn't seem
think.
like your sexy Toreador kind of move.
No.
Poor
Poor
Slug.
Slug.
Jesus, guys, what's the matter?
We asked ourselves the same question.
R.I.P. Slug.
Okay, so we completed the mission successfully. We had the data. We'd also killed Slug. And going into the mission, we'd had meetings with two faction leaders, one of which was called Elif, who we met on the top of the nightclub roof.
All I need you to do is to find a thin blood by the name of Slug. He's in hiding.
And her goal was that she didn't really care what happened to Slug, but she wanted the data. With the other faction leader we met was in the Seattle Underground, which is another apparently real place. And there's a guy called Samuel who's a NOSFERATU. He's kind of wearing a really loud jacket and some sort of 80s looking
He
t-shirt.
also seemed nice.
I assume your handlers have sent you to find our smelly friend.
Yeah, he was
Like a
really,
nice
yeah,
guy.
really lovely guy.
Slug is a scumbag, but he is, just barely, our scumbag.
He just didn't want Slug to get hurt, basically. He was like, look, we could maybe save him.
We'll also make sure he's safe from anyone who's after him. And there's always someone after that guy.
So maybe don't murder him. And we're like, sure, okay, whatever you want, Samuel.
Yeah. And then totally betrayed him by killing Slug. So we'd already done that. And then we headed back to the top of the nightclub to turn in the data, ostensibly.
Have you met with Slug?
And we're like, well, we lost the data.
Then you've done nothing. This will not sit well with the pyramid.
Get the data for ourselves because who knows, we might be able to sell it or barter it or
To another
use it for
faction leader.
leverage.
Yeah.
Let's hope for your sake they don't send me to meet with you again after tonight.
So we'd promised to do a bunch of stuff for a bunch of people and done none of it.
Lying, cheating,
Yep.
stealing, betraying, burning bridges with factions.
You're dead.
From what I can tell, you can make life extremely difficult for yourself by being an a-hole, right? So you can burn bridges with a load of factions, some of whom would have been able to help you with your, ultimate goal, whatever that may be. And also things like, if you feed and drain people, you'll lose humanity and get closer to the kind of being a sort of
The feral
uncontrollable
beast
feral
inside.
beast. And if you break the masquerade constantly, you'll have first the police will come after you, then like heavily armed police, then the vampire sort of establishment will be like,
It's the
this guy's a real trouble.
GTA 5-star
Yeah.
rating, but the vampire version of that, yeah.
If a vampire doesn't turn up in an attack helicopter, I'll be really upset. If you want to be a jerk, which we did in this demo, you can make life extremely hard for yourself in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and it's kind of cool that it is robust enough to let you do that.
Although you say make life hard for yourself, the developer was describing a scenario where if you have very low humanity, you could play through with low humanity as your playstyle, because being at a very low humanity level puts you in the sort of sweet spot for going into a kind of feral berserker type state,
Right.
where you do have control. In the original Bloodlines, when you lost all your humanity, you just become this like blood Roomba, just like running around,
Looking
feeding
for
on
blood, yeah.
everything, out of the player's control. But you do have some control initially
Yeah.
when you're at very, very low humanity. So you could actually use that kind of feral energy
Yeah.
to be like very powerful, but less easy to control.
There is at least a compelling reason to be like really low humanity and dancing on the limits of just turning into a monster,
See,
basically.
it pays being a jerk.
there you go. That's how to be a complete a-hole in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is coming out March 2020. I absolutely cannot wait. Super excited for this one. Really reassured by what we saw. And you can expect a lot more of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 on this channel because we are extremely hyped. So please do subscribe for that.
Very happy with that demo. It was a real highlight of E3 this year. And if you've got anything to say to me or Mike, get it in between now and March 2020 because we're going to be very busy.